We are at 401 North Market Street. It is the home of everything Frederick, and I am with Tina. And we got so called what is it called?
Encompass Integrative Wellness.
Encompass Integrated Wellness. I saw EI Wellness.
Yes.
Yeah, not to be confused with AI Wellness, but she is very intelligent. Not artificially, though. Nothing artificial
No, nothing
about you.
artificial. Not at all.
Right. So we got the conversation started. So you are a nutritionist?
I'm a nutritionist, but I'm licensed in Maryland amongst other states.
Yes, okay. So. Your practice should be booming, I'm assuming.
It's been an interesting evolution.
I bet it has. How long have you been doing this?
8 years?
Okay,
8 years?
So getting up to the decade. I mean, a decade ago,
yes,
I would say we were in a very different place.
Correct.
And, nothing short of the pandemic and just information now that is available about some of the things that are in our foods.
Yes.
Your practice, what is most people who come to you, what are they experiencing? Is it a variety of things, or do you kind of narrow it down?
It's been a variety of things over the years. I mean, I've worked with people with genetic conditions where there's only 150 of them in the world.
Wow.
That I'm working with different universities. And I've worked with people that come to me for traditional weight loss, but usually people are coming to me because everything else they've tried, they still don't feel good.
Yeah.
And they figure they'll give food a try. And they have no idea,
Right.
where to get started and what to do.
Okay, so somebody like that, and we were just chatting about this. My family and I went plant-based several years ago.
Yep.
And I eat a little bit of meat still, chicken and fish pretty much, but felt so good when I went plant-based. And I'm introducing a lot more of that into my diet now again, and everybody else in my family. And it tastes good, and I feel good, and I don't feel so bloated. But I notice if I eat something not so good for me, it does affect you.
It 100%
Mentally,
does.
I feel sluggish. I just am off. And I'm assuming it is literally you're not giving your body what it needs at the time.
Yeah, and that is kind of the focus also of what my practice is and my programming, which is this idea of personalized nutrition. What works for you may not work for me, or may not work for my husband, who incidentally is allergic to all legumes. So I'm the only one who eats beans in my house, for that reason.
Yeah.
But my point is, your body is speaking to you. And luckily, you were smart enough to listen to it and to think about how these things were affecting you and how you were feeling.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah. I think it's so important. And I think we live in a culture in the United States especially that is grab and go, quick and eat. We eat in 5 minutes. We're not doing all the things we're supposed to be doing when you even have a meal. So, and we're not eating in the right orders, and I know there's a million things. So if I came to you and said, look, this is my journey.
Yep.
How would that look working with you? Do you kind of say, give me everything you're eating and I'm going to help you figure it out, or
it's huge.
Okay.
It's huge. So my initial consults run 75 to 90 minutes.
Okay.
Before that, you fill out really comprehensive paperwork, and we do a deep dive into every single thing going on in your world, what your preferences are, what a typical day looks like, what if you don't like vegetables, what vegetables. I have people that say, I will only eat this color food. Everything.
Yeah.
And I do a deep dive into how well you're sleeping, what your stress level is, what you might be exposed to. If you're on well water here in Frederick County, that's huge, because all of these factors can affect your biochemistry, right? To that point of you feeling well or not feeling well. And so we work together to look at what's going on with you. And then I explain why you might be experiencing different things, or why these things may be happening. Because if you understand the why, you're going to be more empowered to do something about it.
And so do you take people like to a complete reset?
Sometimes.
Like, is that, I mean, if somebody's willing, like just kind of eliminating
Yep.
and just introducing things as you go, especially if you're not feeling well. Like, thankfully, knock wood. I mean, I've not been ill. I'm not on any medications, although I just had emergency gallbladder surgery. And I did ask I said, did I do something to cause this? Am I eating something weird? He said, really, no. I had never had a problem before. But anyway, I don't know if that's true or not. But since then, I'm like really conscientious because I thought, well, maybe I did, certain foods or whatever. But I just find it fascinating that you have the capability, and I know food has that capability.
Food and lifestyle changes have tremendous power, and we all eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all go to, and people underestimate the power that has, which is why I'm working with people not only one-on-one, but doing some group-related things as well to try and bring that education and that awareness out into the community.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, I think the group thing is brilliant because then you're able to really impact lots of people who are interested. Certainly not as targeted as a personalized one-on-one, but general knowledge and being able to kind of steer people in a direction. What are the 3 things we do as Americans in particular that are just absolutely, you got to cut it out today?
Wow, that's hard. The first one is not cutting it out. It's actually incorporating it. Drink more water.
Oh, yeah.
Like super easy. People underestimate how much they should be drinking versus what they are. The other thing that I would say is really look at your sugar content.
I'm a little bad on that.
Sugar hides everywhere, even chicken broth.
Yeah.
I've seen it in chicken broth.
Yeah.
Canned chicken broth. So that would be the second one. And I think the third, and my background is integrative and functional as well, is really look at, and I'm going to kind of put these together, your sleep and stress levels. If you're not getting enough sleep, it's driving up your stress level, lowering your threshold of tolerance. All of those things can deplete your body of nutrients, can affect your hormone function. Yeah. Huge impacts, and people just underestimate. It's like, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, I do say that. Menopausal, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So for me, that's when I hit that point, that's really, I say I haven't slept in 21 years because my son's 21 and my daughter's 19.
Yeah.
So pretty much when I had kids.
23 and 19.
Yeah. So when I had kids, I noticed immediately. Like I used to be able to sleep anywhere, anytime, and then you have kids and it just something switches in you. But certainly now, with the hot flashes and covers on, covers off, sweating, freezing, that sort of thing, are there food things that we can do to help with menopausal symptoms?
Yeah, I mean, there are foods that people can utilize to help with menopausal symptoms. There are supplements out there. I always go food first, but even just the timing of things to make sure that you aren't experiencing super high cortisol levels in the middle of the night, because if you're not eating enough, you could have low blood sugar, cortisol rises, dump sugar into your bloodstream, and you're up.
Yeah.
I think that's actually what happened to me last night. But yeah, I went to bed and then I woke up in the middle of the night and I was wide awake for hours. Yeah.
All right. So social media can be great for a lot of things, terrible for some things, with spreading rumors and all of this stuff. But I've been diving into cortisol is a big one. I've been listening to a lot of things about cortisol levels and kind of the pooch. Kind of has an effect on that too, ladies, some more than others. But also Celtic, like sea salt. I've heard that these were mineral deficient, and there are a lot of minerals like magnesium and all of these things that we just don't get any longer. What do you say about introducing some of those sorts of things into your diet? I mean, I know some people say you drink a little bit every day. What do you think about those sorts of things?
So as far as that's concerned, I think that there are a couple of things to be said there. The first is that not everybody is mineral deficient, right? Depending on if you're doing predominantly plant-based, you're getting a lot of minerals and vitamins from other areas, and you may not be as depleted as you think you are. However, I've also seen cases where people are doing like Himalayan and the Celtic sea salt, and they end up being low in iodine, because they've completely gotten rid of iodized salt, and then they don't do any seafood. So, one of the things that is really out there too is being able to understand what you are eating and what's in what you're eating, and empowering yourself for that way. And then, there are labs out there to measure some of these things as well, if you want to go down that way.
I always say everything in moderation.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. I mentioned sugar, but I'm also, anybody who knows me knows that once a year, I do a massive baking event where our community bakes about upwards of 2,000 cookies we distribute throughout the community.
What?
Yeah, this cool. Year will be year 20 or 25. I can't remember.
Awesome.
So, there's a time and a place, and if you don't allow yourself those things, you end up with food police, and then it becomes. Food is emotional. It's ritualistic. And it's got to be balanced.
It does. It does. How can people reach out to you? Where should they start?
They can go to eiwellness.com, Encompass Integrative Wellness, so eiwellness.com. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, if you just put any of those things out. And I encourage them to check out. I do have a VIP anti-inflammatory table VIP community program that's starting soon.
All right.
Which allows you to get some of that benefit of that group activity without necessarily the intensity of a one-on-one type of thing, and it's just kind of fun.
I love it. We're going to have to do more, because I could spend hours talking about all this good stuff, because I think it's so important for us to know where our food's coming from, what's in it, and how it affects you. And like you say, everybody is different, but I would love to get as many people off of meds if that's possible, and help them just to be healthy, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you.
Oh,
and I think what you're doing is great, and I hope you can reach more and more people, because I really think it's what we need,
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm really focusing more on, some of my recipes and things on my site about, like, what's out there and why it matters. You know what I mean? Because, again, I want to educate and empower.
Yeah. So. I think you're doing it. All right, eiwellness.com. Get set up an appointment. Maybe just reach out for a consult. Figure out where you are and what you might need to feel better. I know I could use the little sleep stuff, but I'm not sure what we can do with that. But we'll try to find out for sure. All right, we thank you guys for watching.